Hey guys, this is Srivatsa. I am studying at Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering in the Department of AI, pursuing my second sem. I'm here with another session, and today we're going to be discussing about the Python functional classes and the prototyping and versus planning. So we're going to be discussing the introduction to Python classes and functions, time and efficiency, pure functions modifiers, prototyping versus planning, and the examples of all of them. Introduction. Introduction to Python classes and functions. Python is a powerful programming language that offers many tools and features to make coding easier and more efficient. One of the most important of these tools is Python classes and functions. Classes and functions allow you to organize your code into reusable modular components that can be easily tested, maintained, and updated. They also help to improve the time and efficiency of your programs by reducing the amount of code you need to write and make it easier to debug and troubleshoot errors. And efficiency. Python classes and functions are powerful tools that can help improve time and efficiency in programming. By using classes, you can group related data and functions together, making your code more organized and easier to read. This can save your time when debugging or modifying your code later on. Functions, on the other hand, allow you to reuse code and avoid writing the same code multiple times, which can also save you time and make your code more efficient. For example, imagine you having the program that needs to perform a complex calculation multiple times. Without functions, you would need to write the same code for each calculation, which can be time consuming and error prone. However, by defining function to perform the calculation once, you can actually simply call the function whenever you need to perform the calculation again, saving your time and reducing errors. Functions. In Python programming, a pure function is a function that can always return the same output for the same input and has no side effects. This means that it does not modify any variables outside of the scope, and it does not interact with any other external systems or resources. Pure functions are important in pure Python programming because they make code easier to reason about and test. Modifiers. Python programming modifiers are used to modify the behavior of project objects. They can be used to change the value of an object's attribute or to add new attributes to the object. Modifiers are implemented using methods, which are functions that belong to the class. There are two types of modifiers in Python: instance methods and class methods. Instance methods are used to modify the behavior of the individual objects, while class methods are used to modify the behavior of all objects of a particular class. Both types of modifiers are useful in different situations and can help make your code more flexible and reusable. Prototyping versus planning. When it comes to Python programming, there are two types or two main approaches to development. One is prototyping and the other one is planning. Prototyping involves creating a basic version of the program and then iterating on it until it meets the desired specifications. This approach is often used in situations where the requirements are not well defined or when the project is still in the early stages of development. On the other hand, planning involves carefully defining the requirements and design of the program before any coding begins. This approach is often used in situations where the requirements are well understood or when the project is more complex and requires more structured approach. Example of time and efficiency: let's say we have a program that needs to perform a complex calculation multiple times. Instead of writing the same code over and over again, we can actually create a Python function that performs the calculation once and then calls the function whenever we need to perform the calculation again and again. This saves our time and makes our code more efficient. Now let's take it a step further. We can use Python classes to create objects and contains functions and data. This allows us to organize our code in a way that it is easier to read and maintain. For example, we can create a class called calculator that contains a function for the complex calculation we mentioned earlier. Then, whenever we need to perform the calculation, we can create an instance of the calculator class and call the functions on that instance. This not only saves our time and improves efficiency, but also makes our code much more organized and modular. Pure functions examples. Let's consider an example of the pure function in Python programming. Suppose we have a function called add and underscore numbers that takes two arguments, x and y, and returns their sum. Here is what the code for the function might look like. Def add underscore numbers. The parameters are x and y. Def stands for define. We are defining the function add underscore numbers, giving the parameters x and y. So we are returning x plus y, which is the summation of the parameters which are given. This function is considered pure because it has no side effects and always returns the same output given the same input. In other words, calling this function with the same values of x and y will always produce the same result. Additionally, this function does not modify any variables outside of this scope. Example for modifiers, let's say we have a class called person with attributes such as name, gender, and age. We can use modifiers to change the value of these attributes. For example, if we want to change the age of the person from 25 to 30, we can use the following code: person.age is equal to 30, which can be used using a dot operator. Modifiers can also be used in methods to modify the state of an object. For instance, we have the method increase underscore age that increases the age of the person by a certain amount. We can use the following code: define increase underscore age into self years. Self.age plus is equal to years. This would increase the age of the person by the specified number of years. Example for prototyping versus planning. Let's say you are developing a new game and you want to create a character class. You have two options: prototyping or planning. Prototyping involves creating a basic version of the character class and testing it in the game. This allows you to quickly iterate and make changes based on the feedback. Planning, on the other hand, involves mapping out all the features and attributes of the character class before writing any code. This approach takes longer upfront, but can save a lot of time in the long run by reducing need for extensive testing and debugging. So I conclude saying that Python classes and functions are essential tools in programming that can greatly improve time and efficiency. By using pure functions, we can ensure that our code is predictable and easy to debug. While modifiers also allow us to modify objects with ease, additionally, understanding the difference between prototyping and planning can also help us choose the best approach for our projects. Through the examples provided, we have seen that how the Python classes and functions can be used in practical applications, such as improving the performance of a sorting algorithm or creating a simple calculator. By mastering these concepts, we can become more efficient programmers and we can create more robust and reliable softwares. Thank you.